I had one moment. I was about halfway through my time as a corporate lawyer, excuse me, when my grandfather died, and I had been very close with him, and he died at the age of 94. And he had been a rabbi all his life, and he was still practicing as a rabbi up until a week or two before he died. He was still like going to the synagogue in his wheelchair and giving sermons to, to a full synagogue, and spending his weeks thinking about what the sermons were going to be, like all the way up until the end. And I remember it was one of those epiphany moments, where I thought, gosh, would I want to be practicing as a corporate lawyer when I'm 94 and very close to my deathbed? And I realized, no, like, I don't even want to be doing it now when I'm, in my late 20s, which is what I was at the time I had this thought. And it took me a while to act on that thought, but it really was one of those, lamppost light bulb moments for me. And I don't think, I think I've been just so incredibly like strike of lightning lucky that the thing I love doing most happened to work out as a career. I don't think it necessarily needs to. I just think it's important that whatever the real light is inside you, you find some way to manifest it, whether it's through your day job or not.
Marshall, what's your thinking here?
I love what both people just said. It's a really great thought. And give me some help here. I coach people all the time. That's what I do for a living. And I used to do pretty much just coaching for behavioral change, but now I work with a lot of people. They're already billionaires anyway. So, what am I supposed to do? Get them from 4 billion to 4.1? Who cares? So now I spend a lot of time coaching people about their lives. And I think both of you really hit on something that's key: comfort. I think one of the greatest challenges we have in life is comfort. And when we're really comfortable, it's hard to change. If I look back on my life, the best coaching I ever got, things were not going poorly. I was doing very well. And my friend, Dr. Paul Hersey, told me, he said, you're making too much money. Your customers are happy. You're too comfortable. You will never be who you could be. And he was exactly right. It took me a while to get over that, but he was right. Just a quick thought. You can coach me now. You're coaching somebody who's basically got a house, maybe in a job, and they're doing well and they're comfortable. They're not being who they could be. What advice do you have, basically in your own life or just in general, for this person? Imagine I'm this person. What advice do you have for me?
Who do you want to go first?
Sure.
You're talking to Susan still. You're still talking to Susan. I'm sorry. Carry on.
Oh, I'm a big believer in general, not even just for this question alone, in the power of small wins. And so I would say for this person, like once you've identified what the thing is that's missing, spend 10 minutes a day at it. Like no matter how busy we are, we can find 10 minutes. And maybe from there, 15 minutes and then 20 minutes, and just see where it takes you. And again, to do the thing that you love best without any of the pressure of feeling like it will only have been a success if I end up, doing this on some kind of a world-class stage. Forget all that. You're just doing it for its own sake, and you're carving out 10 minutes a day.
Thank you. I love that advice. Now, tough act to follow. Now it's your turn, Oliver.
Right. Following that advice and coaching you. All of this is a recipe for triggering my imposter syndrome to the maximum. I just want to say one thing that I suppose it maybe pushes back a little bit, both against something I was saying and what you were saying, Marshall, but that is just that it's been very helpful for me at transition moments to remember sometimes that the stakes are not as high as I'm liable to think that they are in my subconscious. Obviously people have different levels of privilege and good fortune, and I don't come from a particularly sort of astoundingly privileged background or anything, but I have always, I don't think I've really ever been in a situation where if I'd made a wrong decision with what I was doing, I was going to be sort of literally living on the streets. And yet the sort of, the kind of anxiety that can build up about making a big decision often does have those kind of catastrophic fantasies involved. So I say this not really just to berate anyone watching that they are better off than they think they are or something like that, and not to deny that there are some people who do face more catastrophic consequences, but just to sort of, I think that we have a natural tendency, whatever could be the results of it all going wrong, we have a natural tendency to sort of add another 10 to 20% to those, or more to those thoughts. And I have found it very useful to go through that process of asking what's really the worst that is remotely likely to happen here, and it can make changes. It's not so much finding the courage to make changes, but actually reducing the amount of courage required.
Oh, I love that.
Absolutely. And it reminds me about another person said to me that 9 out of 10 of all your concerns have been proven to be irrelevant or non-existing, right? I mean, I love that stuff. And I want to say thank you to both of you, because amazing. And I'm sure that you will help a lot of people out there. Just want to hand over the baton to you, Marshall. What are you taking away here?
Yeah, I'm going to share a personal story. I just taught at the Indian Institute of Technology. Now, to put this in context, I went to UCLA where I got a PhD. They had 165,000 applicants last year. Indian Institute of Technology had 10 to 20 times that many. It's the most difficult school to get into the world. We were talking about life. And I want to share two thoughts, one from Oliver and one from Susan. I was talking about life and aspiration and why am I here and why am I doing this? And Susan, some of these kids were clearly going through what you were going through. I thought they might be bored, disinterested. Who's this crazy, touchy-feely old man talking, right? 10 of them started crying. They just started crying while I was speaking. They had been so driven their entire lives to get into the damn Indian Institute of Technology that their life used to be like this and they thought they could relax. Now it's like that. Mm-hmm. And, I like two thoughts I got from both of you. One is from Susan. You don't have to spend your whole life doing this stuff you're dreaming about, but do some of it. You can still graduate from the damn school, but that doesn't mean you can't do some of it every day, which I love that thought. I wish I talked to you before I talked to them. I'd give them a little bit better advice. And Oliver, I like your advice too. What's the worst that's going to happen? You graduate from the damn Indian Institute of Technology, you're not going to starve to death. I mean, they can change their career, right? You've got an IQ of 12 million. You can change your career anyway. You're not going to starve. It's okay, kid. You're going to do just fine. So I just want to say thanks to both of you. I thought both of you, I wish I'd talked to them both. I wish I'd talked to you both before I had this talk, but I think it's great advice to give people at all stages of life. So thank you.